Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we are talking Love Island USA Season 7 because there was a hit piece that was put out by Rolling Stone MENA, which is a subdivision of Rolling Stone, of the Rolling Stone magazine. And there was a hit piece that was put out yesterday really to attack Shelly and Cheellandria and uplift Huda, you guys. And we got to speak on it because the article got taken down. But your girl has the article. And I'm going to read to you what happened that caused all of the backlash, that caused all of the reporting of the article. And ultimately, the article got shut down. It seems that there is a jealousy and an insecurity over the positive praise Shelly and Cheellandria are receiving. Cheellandria, as you know, has had a few brand deals that have been announced. As we know, Shelly, I think her brand deals are going to more so come after the reunion because it seems that her team is really trying to push her away from the show. And she was just at the Beyonce Secret event in New York. And she has her birthday celebration coming up as well. And I think she's got a lot of deals under the table that she's waiting till after the reunion to announce. But it seems that, you know, a certain fan base, they continue with the hate train. They continue attacking Cheellandria and Shelly's family, which I find just absolutely disgusting. They want to police the friendships. They want to police the fans. And there's crazy fans in every fan base. So nonetheless, we're going to get into this article and we're going to call out the lies and the BS, right? So this article was written by a lady by the name of Mona Khalifa, and it says, Love Island's vilification of Middle Eastern contestants needs to end. And see, what they were hoping for, they were trying to lump in Huda and Leah together as if they had the same experience on Love Island, which was already your first mistake. And I saw people making jokes that maybe Leah got this article shut down. But nonetheless, let's get into it. As the highly anticipated Love Island USA Season 7 reunion nears and we prepare to shutter the villa doors for another year, I was moved to reflect on a few stubborn icks that are still ruminating in my mind after what might have been the show's wildest talked about season yet. Season 7 was plagued by racist undertones with more than one cast member sent home for past social media posts fans dug up online. Contestant Yulisa Escobar got the boot in the first weeks of the show. Well, actually, it was within the first couple of days of the show. I believe she didn't even make it to day 2. Producers were informed that she'd used the N-word in a podcast and on multiple occasions online, while Sierra Ortega, who made it to the final days of the show, was asked to leave after fans found old social media posts of her making a racial slur aimed at the Asian community. And while the show has vowed not to have another season like this one, as it implements a stricter vetting process, there is a theme that rang through for me, and one that isn't necessarily unique for this season: the vilification of its Middle Eastern cast members. And I feel like already we're going down the wrong road. We are heading down the wrong road, but let's continue. Having Middle Eastern people on Love Island USA, women in particular, is a new development, one spearheaded by Leah last season and driven home further season 7 with the show's first Arab American contestant, Huda. From the start, Huda was hated. No, we're already on the wrong road. From her own community and those outside of it. Everything from her mental health to her appearance and the way she spoke has been talked about online. And though there is no arguing that she was problematic, oh, so you do agree there that she was problematic. both with the boys in the villa and the girls she tried to make friends with. The vilification of Huda was almost immediate. No, not quite. So much so that calls were made by host Ariana Madix to stop some of the vitriol being aimed at the Islanders online. Love Island has the best fans across the entire globe, Madix said during a June 21st episode of Love Island After Show After Sun. Passionate, and I love that. There's such a great, amazing communal experience when it comes to watching the show. But I do want to say something to those people who are online. Do not be contacting people's families. Do not be doxing people. Do not be going on Islanders pages and saying rude things. So they said this because there was rumors that CPS was being called regarding Huda's daughter and everything else. But here's my question. You guys did not say anything about the attacks that Alandria's parents have received and about Shelly's family have received. And it's still happening as of now because Ace's sisters are going into the comments and letting the people know that they are still under attack as of now. As of, Saturday, as of yesterday, August 23rd, 2025. Make it make sense? Ariana continued, this is a fun, amazing, beautiful show, and we should be thanking each one of these Islanders every single day for giving us themselves. Be nice, be nice. But you were silent, Ariana, when it was Shelly and Alandria that were receiving the hate, which is why I cannot take this seriously. But the call was largely ignored by viewers, with Huda, who boasts both Palestinian and Jordanian ancestry, called a terrorist by her haters and slammed for her crash outs in the villa, earning her the nickname Hurricane Huda. Now, here's the problem we're going to start right here, then and there. First and foremost, Hannah from the show, remember Hannah? She actually she had a handle on her social media that was like Hurricane Huda, right? And she was the person who coined Hurricane Huda in the villa. It wasn't the fans, you guys. It was Hannah herself. And like I said, she had a handle for one of her social media platforms, Hurricane Huda, right? And here's the thing. The reason that a lot of people were not seeing it for Huda were a couple of reasons. Because there seems to be a lot of recency bias, which is why people continue to harp on the Shelly and Alandria hate, is for the first few weeks, Huda's obsession with Jeremiah was cringeworthy. She was calling all of the new bombshells, whether it was Amaya, whether it was Iris, whether it was Hannah, calling them all types of B's and H's if they dared have a conversation with Jeremiah. And, America tried to split them up as a couple, tried to pair Jeremiah with somebody else and everything else. And for whatever reason, it turned into we have to victimize Huda, that maybe Jeremiah is the problem and maybe we need to get Jeremiah off the show. No. We wanted Huda off of the show. We wanted Huda gone from the show because we felt that Huda's behavior was out of pocket, was out of control. And this is the problem that happens with these reality TV shows when they're edited a certain way, is that you tend to think, sometimes the wrong interpretations or the wrong delusions. And Huda was calling Jeremiah all types of PAB and all types of deplorable and disgusting names, you guys. And so none of the less, the girls were trying to have her back, but Huda was being messy too. She was telling Alandria within the first couple of episodes, that she's got a good man and everything else, and really trying to gaslight the other women when they all stood up to be in a couple with Sierra when Sierra came in as a bombshell. And, then Alandria basically was like, Huda, like you need to chill. Like this isn't that serious. And Huda immediately started the victim tears against Alandria and Shelly right before our eyes and tried to create something out of nothing. That is when people saw Huda for what she was. She immediately came into the show, told Alandria and Shelly, I'm a mamacita, basically trying to lock them in as Huda's minions. Don't talk to anybody I talk to. Don't mess with anybody I talk to because I'm a mom and I need this show. And it backfired in epic proportion, which is why this hit piece exists. So many online people suggested that Huda seeks therapy. At one point, she was roped into making out with contestant Elon, a Jewish influencer with ties to Israel, a moment that spurred discussion on both sides as viewers wondered if production viewed the kiss as an opportunity to make peace amongst the opposing factions. While that was problematic on its own, Huda got the most hate from her castmates and those online as a result of her outwardly sexual behavior during challenges, both in the twerk-off during the Megan Thee Stallion surprise appearance in the villa and in the heart rate challenge, leading viewers home to attack her motherhood. Here's the thing. There was rumors that Huda is a midnight ballerina. There is rumors that she was allegedly a stripper, right? And some of the moves that she would display on these challenges, and not just to the heart rate challenge and not just to the Megan Thee Stallion twerking challenge, because it was the same leg clap thing that she does everywhere. But none of the less, even at Casa Amor, when she's supposed to be in a couple with JD, she's doing that whole silk, let me lick you up and down routine that she did with Jeremiah when they had the lace and leather thing. And she did that to Chris, who was in a couple with Shelly, and it's like, what the Shelly, like, why are we doing these types of inappropriate moves that are going too far in a challenge? Why are you licking on men's private parts and doing all of this extra in front of men that you are not in a couple with, that you are not involved with, and all the girls are supposed to just sit there and be on the mute challenge? No. The TV personality who is a mom to a 4-year-old daughter, who, by the way, we never see. Because right now, as we speak, Huda is in Germany at a club appearance with Louis. Like, I'm here to tell you, it might have been max 3 or 4 business days that Huda has been with this child. Make it make sense. Most notably went viral after she informed fellow castmate Nicolas that she was in fact a mommy. The moment spawned a million memes, see mommy, mamacita, and brought some levity to Huda's otherwise most hated arc on the show, earning her a spot in the Final Four with partner Chris Seeley. While she didn't find love, her and Chris broke up during their final date or emerge a winner. Amaya and Brian won the top title thanks to the public votes. She did leave with an online career, earning millions of followers over the course of the season. So it's interesting that is all of the saving grace, that you got all of these followers, but your community, your headquarters, your fan base, all they do is spew hate, negativity, racism, doxing, and the like. But even a soft spot formed for Huda in the final weeks of the series, the negativity did not waver as viewers applauded her breakup with Chris and cheered when she was not announced as this season's winner. That hate continued after the show's end as fellow contestants, and here's the problem right here, as fellow contestants Alandria and Shelly, whose fans went hard against Huda online, made their feelings about their former roommate crystal clear. While they often side-eyed Huda in the villa and made tongue-in-cheek comments at her expense. Again, where is the receipts of this? Because all of the footage shows that Shelly and Alandria were hugging up on Huda in the villa, were trying to be a friend to this girl in the villa up until the heart rate challenge and up until the stand on business challenge when Huda was moving weird. So now they want to reference the Keke Palmer comment. So they said, while they often side-eyed Huda in the villa and made tongue-in-cheek comments at her expense in an interview on Keke Palmer's Baby, This Is Keke Palmer podcast, the pair flipped the narrative on its head, criticizing Huda's overly emotional motives as hypocritical, telling Palmer that they were not afforded the same grace as black women in the villa. How often do you feel like you had to tone down, as black women on just a TV show? Palmer asked. It's like if I say, peep, it's taken out of context, Alandria said, finishing Palmer's sentence, and now I'm the bad guy. I'm the mean girl. It's very exhausting to say the least. I feel like me and Shelly had to tone down a lot not to cross over that boundary, because a person who looks opposite of us, as soon as they get emotional, we're going to cater to this person. Huda would go on to address the hate that she was met with during the season after returning home. Doing an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Huda told the outlet, I feel like I was bullied a lot in the villa. I really do. So here's the thing with pointing out the Kiki Palmer podcast, right? So this interviewer decided, this person who wrote this article decided to take out of the article in which Shelly and Alandria said that they were against the bullying, they were against the hate, and they felt that calling CPS on somebody allegedly was too far. But see, when you're trying to frame a narrative that the black girls that Shelly and Alandria are problematic, are mean girls, and just hate Huda for no reason, this is where things fall flat. So you want to reference an interview that Huda did where she said she feels bullied, but you failed to mention the other interviews that Huda did where she says that she feels justified in her behavior. She feels justified. She sees her fans' reaction and she feels justified on how she behaved. She said in the heart rate challenge in an interview that maybe Shelly needs to check her man Ace, and that Ace wanting me is not my problem, and all of this and all of that, and that there was sexual tension between her and Ace. All of that came out of Huda's mouth, and so far I don't see that in this article, other than the narrative that Huda is trying to put out there that she was bullied. Is it bullying when people decide to distance themselves from you, you guys? Is it bullying when people decide to ignore you if you are the problem, is what I want to know. The 24-year-old continued, and I'm glad that other people saw it too, because I really 100% thought I was being bullied in the villa, and coming out to the villa seeing I wasn't crazy. And when I felt like someone was looking at me and making fun of me, I was right. I feel like someone was always talking about me, I was right. When I felt things shifting in a certain person, I was right. I realized I should have trusted my intuition. And who was that certain person? Shelly? Alandria? The bullying was nothing new, however, with Huda detailing her tumultuous childhood during appearance on her Call Her Daddy podcast, where, like many of us, she was called a terrorist in school. I always got bullied in school. People would make racial comments about me, call me a terrorist. Huda shared, this stuff happened to me in my childhood leading into high school. As for the hate she's seen from her own fan base towards her fellow Islanders, Huda said in a separate interview, I don't condone hate, I don't condone bullying, I don't condone any of that. Here's the thing, the article that Huda said that had no views, had no traction, had no interest. This was already after the viral interviews that Huda pushed the narrative that she was bullied, right? So by the time that this article came out, nobody saw it, nobody cared, it didn't matter, because she was already hitting home with the Call Her Daddy podcast, with Entertainment Tonight, with the larger platforms, with the larger publications, that I was bullied, that nobody had my back in that villa, and only people I could talk to were the therapist and Amaya. So then they have the audacity to compare this to Leah and say, sadly, what happened to Huda is nothing new. Season 6 saw a similar trope with the now beloved Leah. No. Branded fiery and often misunderstood by her castmates, the show's first Persian-American contestant, who went on to find love with fellow Islander Miguel, was met with hate online after the fallout from her brief romance with Rob, and many calling her manipulative and a liar. But it was the mean girl edit that she got by production that shocked viewers at home the most after a bunch of critical tweets were read about her during a challenge. Simone Thomas of Love Island USA executive producer and president of ITV Entertainment, meanwhile, told the Hollywood Reporter in a July 2024 interview that those just happened to be the tweets that were either the most funny or entertaining or story-provoking, and insisted it wasn't a targeted thing towards Leah. Leah was forced to defend herself in the hate she received on social media after she and Miguel ended the season in second place. Now, what's interesting about this is that Love Island USA decided to go away with the Twitter challenge and instead do the Stand on Business challenge and the public ranking challenge, which garnered more hate to the Islanders. Make it make sense. In a lengthy post shared by her Instagram stories last year, Leah said while in school she was called a terrorist and questioned over her immigration status due to her parents being from Iran. I could talk about my horrible experience at the school for years, but if y'all want to get into it, let's do it. But to do it off your real account, I can address it perfectly. Leah wrote in part, don't play with my character like that ever. I don't play that racist SHIT, and I don't play bully SHIT. Bye. She continued, the second a Middle Eastern woman stands for herself is she's scary, angry bully, but when a white woman doesn't, she's popping her shit. Yes, queen, spare me. Similar bullying has been also seen on the franchise's OG series Love Island UK. While the show was faster to introduce diversity to its cast, getting its first Persian contestant on season 5, the vilification of the Middle Eastern cast members has remained ever present. What? On the show's most recent season, contestant Yasmin was slammed from the start, similarly to Huda. Her sexuality and made no apologies to Outlook to finding love in the villa earned her hate online from her fellow cast members, particularly the other women who labeled her boring. While over time she became the fan favorite of season 12, there were calls online for her to leave the show. Shakira, who is of particular Pakistani descent, was also flogged earlier on the season, with some of the women in the villa taking issue with her popularity amongst the men. That divide became even more prominent as the girls filtered off into cliques, with Yasmin and Shakira ending up in a group alongside American bombshell Tony and Nigerian-Irish contestant Billy Kiss, while the other women, who were made up in large part of European descent, forming a group of their own. So yes, credit where it is due, Love Island has taken some steps towards better representation, but spotlighting the diverse contestants means little if the show fails to protect them with predictable, persistent abuse, especially now when anti-Middle Eastern and anti-Muslim sentiments are gaining ground globally. The responsibility to do better is more urgent than ever. Love Island is still messy, still flawed, and maybe I'm growing out of it, but for now, it remains my guilty summer ritual. And while I'll likely keep watching, I'm going to do so with a side of my own, as I call on the show to depict its Middle Eastern cast in a better light, while also holding viewers at home to task. Ultimately, my hope is that one day a Middle Eastern woman won't have to endure slurs, suspicion, or silence to exist on that screen, let alone win. So here's the thing. You're trying to, number one, loop in Leah and Huda as if they had the same experiences when they absolutely did not have the same experiences on their seasons. And you are trying to dismiss the problematic behavior that Huda has said and done and tried to manipulate these women on this cast and tried to pull out the victim tears when things did not go her way. And she does these fake apologies, even though she doesn't really mean it, because she gets validated by her fans. And ultimately, you know, Allandria and Shelley saw through it. They called it out in the Teen Vogue interview, which basically said, listen, looky here, I see the switch up that you did because of your fans. And, you know, for those reasons, it's like, you guys all lived in the villa with us. You guys came to us. Y'all said that we were the villa counselors. We were the villa therapists. We were the villa mamas and all of this and all of that. Brian just said in an interview that Shelley was the most down-to-earth islander. So how can you be a mean girl and be the most down-to-earth islander? Make it make sense. And so, nonetheless, and then after the show, you know, when the finalists were all staying in that Airbnb, remember, it was Huda who was all hugged all over Allandria, saying we had one of the closest relationships in the villa, and it wasn't shown. And Nicolas and Allandria were calling Huda their daughter and everything else, and just hugged up and cuddled up on her the whole time, the absolutely whole time, only for Huda to switch up in these interviews and say that nobody had her back. Nobody had her back. She was a victim. She was bullied. She was isolated. All of these things. And I interpret this as Huda did not want to take accountability, that she went too far with the Jeremiah stuff. She went too far even trying to, you know, incite this foolishness with Chris. She knew she really wasn't into Chris like that, and she knew that Chris was into Shelley, but she had to turn on the escapades in order to lock Chris in hopes that that was going to finally keep his mind off of Shelley while she was still doing foolishness and acting mad in these challenges and all over Ace and all over these other people in challenges, and not respecting other people's boundaries and having zero respect. And according to Edrina, was called out for 6 hours in the Stand On Business Challenge for her behavior of how she treated people in the villa. So now all of a sudden the whole villa is lying on you. I think what happened was the Islanders were scared of the backlash because of how Huda's community, her fan base runs on Twitter and how they run on TikTok, and they were scared to say what was the truth. So they fed into the lies for clout, for attention, to, again, fuel the hatred against Shelly and Alandria. But now that they see that it's bad for business associating with Huda, now that they see that everybody loves Shelly and Alandria, and it is Shelly and Alandria that are getting these opportunities, people are now on the mute challenge. People are now on the mute challenge. Now that Alandria and Shelly, they're not the mean girls that people, tried to push for 2 episodes and everything else. They're realizing it's bad for business to try to go against Shelly and Alandria. And they're distancing themselves from Huda, and that is why this hit piece article came out when it did, and it backfired, and it was immediately taken down. So there is that. That is it. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post the content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.